Criss, is there any chance that you happen to have a favorite four of a kind?
The jacks?
The jacks, okay. Now, you watch me just there give the pack 2 thorough shuffles, but I'm going to go one step further and give the cards a cut as well. Now, you and I both know the cards could be marked, so it's possible I could go through and maybe spot one of the jacks. It's possible. But the idea of being able to find all 4 from a freshly shuffled ordinary deck of cards certainly takes the challenge to the next level. There's 1. There's 2. There, I'm pretty sure, is number 3. There is number 3. And the last of the 4 cards you named, number 4. All 4 jacks. I love this shuffle. I learned this many, many years ago when I was just a teenager. This is the very best false shuffle I've ever seen. It's the Zarrow Shuffle, created by a brilliant magician, Herb Zarrow. That's Zarrow, Z or Z, A-R-R-O-W, Herb Zarrow's false shuffle. I love the fact that it's not that hard to learn. It'll take some practice. Okay, this is definitely next level stuff. But it looks like a real table shuffle. You'll be able to use this false shuffle for many different kinds of things. There's lots of different things you can do with it. However, I do like the idea of having someone name a 4 of a kind and I can cut to it. How am I able to get to the 4 of a kind? Well, I've got the whole deck set up. This is why it's a great opening. The kings, queens, jacks, 10s, 7s, 5s, right down to the aces. I've got all the cards set up. And then I have a pencil dot on the corner, on the upper left-hand corner, and it's always nice to have it on both corners, so even if you happen to, do this, you don't have to do it again, marking every 4, so I know where the aces are, the queens, and I just have to count down to them, okay? Now, because I have it set up, kings down to queens, I knew the jacks, when Criss mentioned them, would be near the bottom, okay? So all I literally say is, having just done a couple of false shuffles, which I'll get into in a second, all I literally say is, now look, it's possible the cards are marked. I know that. And as I'm going down and saying, it's possible the cards are marked, I'm just counting my spots down. I'm just counting down. You could, if you wanted to, rather than just mark them, you could mark, you could almost do like a pencil dot here for aces, for 2s here, 3s, a little higher up, a little higher up, a little higher, and do it around that way, pencil dot position. That way, rather than having to count down your pencil dots, you're able to look for a particular pencil dot and know where to get. But I'm down on my jacks. So now all I have to do is get a pinky break, okay? Then I double undercut, and I bring the jacks to the top. So Criss literally could have named any 4 of a kind, and I immediately can get them to the top, all right? Now, before I show you my a few different reveals you can use to reveal the top 4 cards, let's look at the Zarrow Shuffle for a second. So, what's so great about the Zarrow Shuffle, okay, is you grab some cards from the middle of the deck, clearly shuffle them together, okay, and then there's this slightly messy square up, which makes the whole thing look so legitimate, okay, and I'm going to do it again. So it really looks like I'm just pulling cards from the middle, okay, truly shuffling them, nothing suspicious, and then you get this gorgeous messy square, which really nails the deal. So what is the Zarrow Shuffle? You're going to hold back the top card with the tip of your left finger, okay? Holding the deck almost like a Hindu shuffle, I guess, like this, okay? And I'm going to pull out. It doesn't matter, 5 cards, 25 cards, a bunch of cards from below the top card come slid out, okay? Pick up, butt them together, put them side by each. At the back end, I truly do shuffle them all together, just the corners. Then, with my first finger, both hands, I'm going to extend the top 2 cards to give me that really important cover for the secret action. What's the secret action? The secret action is I'm going to, having done the corners, I'm going to do this, break the corners free, and push all the cards under the top card, which means that the entire deck is in the same order. And again, so I pull, riffle the corners, push these forward just by doing this. and then I deliberately kick things a little bit forward. And notice I'm going to use the fingertips, the tips of both hands now, which should be there anyway, to cover the fact that an entire block is being pushed back underneath, okay? So, one more time, and slightly slower, slightly sped up, okay? Shuffling, everything goes under the top card, square them in, and really, you know, this is ironic because if I could, with practice, when I'm doing this more regularly, I can very smoothly square them up, but I actually don't want it too smooth, okay? I find that if there's a bit of a smushing action, and the pinkies are squaring everything, it all comes back together. So, normal speed, you cut the cards apparently, you shuffle, people see you smush it all together, and that is a shuffled deck of cards. So I've been doing the false shuffle. I also did a couple of false cuts in here. One false cut, I've done a bunch on this channel, is where you do a kick cut, taking the top half into the left hand, come over, keep a break at the back of the deck with the thumb, then do a double undercut, which is to riffle off cards off the back into the left hand, cut them on top, riffle to the break, cut them on top, leaving you again, so that's one false cut. The other false cut, and again, I've shared this with a bunch of my fans, is you grab the back of the deck, the back two corners of the lower half, and you're pulling it out, okay? So I got a third here. Big action here, and then turn these here. So this is a bluff. It's the bottom packets coming out and the top packets going back on top. So you're not even exchanging the packets. Everything stays on top the entire time. So these are ways you can keep the whole deck in order, and in this case, keep my jacks on top using the false cut, the zero shuffle, and then that ruse cut. So how do you want to reveal the 4 cards on top? That's really the next question. A million different ways to do it, whether you're going to use the Erdnase color change, you could use second deals, you can use bow top or bottom as it's called. I'll teach that on an upcoming video. I wanted to keep it real simple here, so all I did was I got my 4 jacks on top, okay? I do a false cut, and I produce a jack. And that'll get gasps, because this table shuffle looks so good, and they named any 4 cards they wanted to. So this is like kind of a Superman, sort of a supernatural version of cut to any card kind of thing. So that's the first one. Second one, you can repeat it, okay? Boom, like that. That's that fake cut again. I got a second jack. Third one, I love to do a miss, right? Always fun, where you're going to do, maybe I'll do this false cut with a double undercut. Again, then I'm going to do a double lift. Now, if you're going to do that, though, I realize you first want to, because if you do a double lift, you're just going to get the 2 jacks. It's not much of a miss. So what you want to do instead is just double cut the top card, get a break, double cut the top card to the bottom of the deck. Okay, so now it's on bottom, ready for my final reveal. Now, I can just, having done that cut, now I do the double lift, okay? And I show, oh, it's a queen, people, oh, he missed one. Turn it over and you can either flick it, drop it, or you can take it and take it off and just wipe it and turn, which can be nice. I did a variation where I just did this, and I'm going to drop this. It's going to hit the fingertips and flip as the left hand comes up. Okay? You want to get closer to the table, so of course. So in this case, what they see then, if I've done my double, they see a queen, I missed, I'm here, I take it, drop it, let it flip, show the jack there. Right? Another nice thing is what you can do is just riffle the edges, add a little magic. So the first 2 you cut to sleight of hand. To find the next one, what you can do, let's say you do your double lift, okay, showing that queen. Now you riffle to the top, snap your fingers, and a one-hand turnover. Sort of nice. And the technique on that, I have tiny hands. It took me forever to learn this, okay? I'm pushing off the top card. Then I'm bending, I got 2 fingers underneath, middle finger on top. And by straightening the fingers, the card, the tensile, and the card flips around on top. It's actually hard to slow down. But there is my 3rd card like that. Drop that one-handed there. To finish, it's an old one. This is one of these ones that looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So I'm going to retake the deck by my right-hand corners from above here. I'm going to come over and with my first finger, spin off the top packet here, which leaves me in this lovely position right here. Without having to readjust now, I'm going to take this corner and butt it against the base of the thumb, okay, here, and have it then, however many cards, 5, 8, 15, get dropped off there, come over here, and this is the original bottom card now. I'm applying pressure with my thumb, and just its own weight allows me to bring that up and over. Certainly you want your reveals to build, right? The first one's pretty simple, next one's a bit, sort of hit the second one, maybe similar to the first, then you have a miss, and then to finish you have a pop-out card, or you could palm a card and pull it out of your pocket, which would be kind of cool. The last one, actually, I was pretty certain that you're going to name the jacks because I kept one in my pocket, palm it off, take it out. Or in performance, again, with this one, we've got 1 and 2, and then finally the third 3 like that. And that's all 4 jacks. There's a time and place for everything in Magic, and that's one of the things, you know, when you're young, you go, I do this, but I don't do that. Or you go, well, yeah, that makes sense, but that's crap. You know, you can be so definitive. I think the longer you do, hopefully anything, whether it's music or, you know, maybe, you know, that whole flirting with llamas thing that's trending now on YouTube, or this kind of thing, is the more you try and explore anything, hopefully the more tools you get, the more perception, the more you're able to include it in something, okay? Now, one of the subjects that's hardly ever talked about, and people seldom ask it on YouTube, it seems. I don't get a lot of emails about it. I talk about it a fair bit on Inside Deception, my training site, but is trick selection. It's great, you know, that's one of the great things about knowing a whole bunch of tricks, because, and this is why I wanted to share this with you, this is not the kind of trick I do a whole lot. To me, it's a bit dry. It's a bit of a watch me trick for sure. Name a 4 of a kind, and I can shuffle the cards. But you know where it really works well, and where I've used it over the years? When I'm in a situation at a business meeting, and it's mostly just guys. When you're going to be in a situation with a lot of guys, I find my usual kind of playful, hey, how you doing? Here's a pun. Oh, what color socks do you wear? That's not going to go down so well at an 8:15 breakfast little show, corporate event, okay? So you need, is one of the great things about learning a whole bunch of tricks, whether it's sponge balls or paddle tricks or mentalism or stuff with borrowed objects or sleight of hand and all these things, is it gives you a greater variety to choose from which tricks for which kind of performance situation. It's huge. So this is kind of a dry trick for sure. And it doesn't have a lot of audience interaction, so I don't do it a lot, but the right time, the right place. What you can do is you can go in a situation, say like I was talking about, just a bunch of men, a business situation, something like that. You do this as an opening trick. You immediately establish yourself as a serious card handling. I wouldn't want to play poker with him. Then you can go into stuff with borrowed bills, mentalism, different kinds of things. But you break the ice by establishing kind of a